and 500 of her fellow employees will be laid off at the end of the month. A young couple coping with the stress of being newly married and facing financial burdens wonder if divorce is a solution to their problem. A young boy at school is teased by other children because he has a speech impediment. A husband and wife both recently retired and preparing to spend their time traveling, learn that the husband now has cancer and the wife is developing Alzheimer's, and no longer are they capable of traveling with each other. What I'm trying to tell you is life isn't easy for many people in the rapidly changing times that we live in. Loved one died, Lord, I've experienced that. Relationships end, somebody can know the problem. Dreams go unfulfilled. The desire to remain faithful is a constant struggle. People stumble along, uncertain what the next day is going to bring. They're fearful of what's going to come in their life upon tomorrow. Cynicism has crept in. Suspicion has come in the door. Anger rules in many people's lives. It is within this context, my brothers and sisters, that many people that are in the world are looking to religion for some type of help. People really want to know if God really exists in the world. And can God really help them in their times of need? And whether we know it or not, people are on a spiritual quest to find happiness, love, and adoration from a God-given creator. Although many people see no reason to have faith or hope, they still want something better out of their life. Despite all the violence that pervades society, the rampant racism and ageism and the addiction that's spreading the very fabric of our life and our community, we still have hope that God will and can make a difference no matter what is going on in our situation. In times that we live in, many of our neighborhoods are ruled by chaos and fear. Sometimes you're scared to walk down the street. You don't know. People just walk around, and I don't know, some places people would around there, you have young men, they'll take off on one side of the road and slowly walk. See you coming down the highway. Want you to stop and slow down, and while they cross the road in broad day traffic. And then they have the audacity, if you don't slow down fast enough, to get mad and start cussing you out. Y'all ain't gonna get me. What kind of time do we live in? Holiness continues to escape us as individuals, as communities and congregations. Disappointment and discouragement disrupt and often destroy lives. Every day, a life being destroyed because they're disappointed with the hand they have been dealt in this life. How can you survive? Much less strive in such a world. How can people have the courage to keep going? I find myself sometimes asking the basic questions of life. How do we face, or why do we face what we face? How can we find the courage to keep going? How do I know? How can I know that my future is being reassured? I understand that through time I've studied, I want to answer some of those questions. Why do we face what we face? There are times in our life that God will allow us to go through some scenarios to challenge was researching, and I saw there was a quote from a woman named Amber Rose Redmond. And she states, the courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. Y'all feel it? See, courage can't see around the corner, but courage will go around the corner anyway, because he knows that it's something that God has for me. Even though I can't see it, I still believe God, I can receive it, because if he